Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Backfire Simsport TV. Happy New Year to everybody, all of our drivers, supporters, and watchers. Tonight, we bring you round 2 of the Next Level E-Series Lamborghini GT3 Cup from Spa-Francorchamps. In the booth with me tonight, I have Mr. Pete Bingham. Good evening.
Good evening. Happy New Year, everybody.
I have Mr. Tyler Newitt. Good evening.
Good afternoon and Happy New Year to everybody.
Good afternoon. Yes, Tyler, you're right. And our cameraman for tonight, as usual, is Mr. Happy Sam Boozin.
Good evening, everybody.
Right, guys. So last time out at Long Beach, the car had only just come out. There hadn't been a great deal of practice to see how this beast was going to handle, and we had some fantastic racing. We also had some silly incidents, but I would call them Long Beach induced. But tonight we're at incident point heaven, and it's going to be difficult, Tyler, for these guys to keep it within the bounds of the track, keep the incident level down. 60-minute race, we know there's a drive-through for 15 incident points and a DQ for 30. You can soon rack them up, can't you?
Yeah, for sure. Everyone's going to have to be careful, but you'll also see drivers using that to their advantage. The ones who keep it clean and tidy for the first part of the race you can sort of bank those towards the end. We saw that for sure in the GT4 series here. I may or may not have taken advantage of that, and I think we'll definitely see it amongst the drivers who know what they're doing and who have the experience on iRacing will know how to use those incident points to their advantage, I would say, for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. And Pete, Spa, we've done a lot of coverage from Spa. Some people find it boring, some people find it absolutely fantastic. But whichever way you look at it, it certainly gives great excitement, especially in a single class race.
It does. When the field stays together, Spa is a very exciting place to be. When it's multi-class racing and they get split up here and there, and we're in an endurance race as we are so frequently at Spa, it becomes a little more disjointed, whereas this I don't think is going to split up too much. And to your point before, there is a 1X incident and a slowdown hidden behind most of the corners around here, so people will be very, very careful, I would think. This is still a relatively new car. We've had it for about 3 weeks. Last time out it was new car, new track combination, because Long Beach was also new to them, in theory, as a non-tech track. Maybe we'll explain some more about that later, I don't know. But the Lamborghini seems very popular on the official races. They've clearly done some work on their paint jobs, because there's some lovely looking cars out there with their brand new liveries.
I think even the base Lamborghini is a good-looking car, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's fantastic. It's a welcome addition to the iRacing service, to be honest. And I think this is going to be one of the more dramatic races around here. It's got some of the most iconic turns in the world. It's a fantastic track. It's high speed, high velocity. But you've got to be careful. You've got to really take some of these corners cautiously, because they will bite back. We've seen a few crashes in the practice session that we were observing before, and we may see some of those in the race.
Yeah, at the moment, we're not too bad. We're on a 77 Fahrenheit track, so it's not some of the silly numbers that we've seen in the past. So probably maximum grip out there at the moment for these guys in their 15-minute qualifying session, of which we are 4.5 minutes into, which gives me a couple of minutes just to let everybody know what happened last time out. So we had a win for Sam Keitart. Maximilian Paul was second. and Danny Crows was third. That was your podium. Obviously, the standings after week 1 will reflect that. We are talking to the organisers about getting us a file so we can show everybody what's going on. In the team championship, currently Racecraft Esports lead the way with GazX Racing Team in second and Lamborghini Squadra Corsa in third. Love that name for a team. Early on in qualifying, Mirko Bortolotti currently sits on provisional pole with Maximilian Paul in second and Niels Langeveld in third. Tyler, how important or unimportant is qualifying round Spa with a 60-minute race ahead of you?
I would say it's definitely important for sure. You don't necessarily have to be on pole or in the top 2 or 3 spots. As currently we just saw Danny Crows jump up into second place, but you definitely want to position yourself towards the front because there's a lot of drafting that goes on around here, and I think people forget about that sometimes because it's not a Daytona or a Le Mans with the classic straightaways, but there's some pretty long straight sections here at Spa, and you're definitely going to see groups of cars that kind of stick together using that toe. So if you can position yourself kind of in one of those front-running groups, you're going to be in a lot better shape than someone who maybe has decent outright pace but is starting back in the field. That's always the case. You never want to be out of position essentially with your qualifying run, but especially on a track like this where being in the toe of the car in front of you or that lead pack can kind of make or break your race here, especially over the course of a 60-minute race. You definitely want to be qualifying to the best of your abilities.
Yeah, and I'm not disagreeing with you at all, Tyler, but Pete, both of you guys drive in our GT4 TCR series, and just this week with Chris Shaw, who is one of the fastest drivers in the TCR, had an absolutely horrible qualifying session, but because it was an hour-long race, because he showed some patience, he ended up with a second position. So, Pete, although qualifying, as Tyler says, you want to be up there near the front in that front pack, all is not lost, is it? If you don't get up there.
No, with the right racecraft, the right strategy in your race, you can make your way through the field. With all of these places, any of these tracks, it's about knowing how to overtake. Chris Shaw really made the most of being a much faster TCR driver than a lot of the field, and also understanding the car. So that car particularly overtakes other cars on the exit of turns. It fires itself out down the track, and harnessing that knowledge into actual talent-driven capability is the essential part of doing a recovery drive, as it were. And he did that very, very effectively. And there'll be people in this field, with some very capable drivers that we know from the real world and from what we saw last time, that have got that in their toolbox. They'll be able to pull on those reserves of knowledge, of talent, of skill, and understanding of the car, because no doubt these guys have done an enormous amount of laps. For the guys at home who don't do sim racing too much, there are an awful lot of us. Actually, I'm not one of them because usually I'm arrive and drive, but there's an awful lot of these guys who invest a massive amount of time practicing for one race, this race, and it's all on the table now, and they will want to make the most of that invested time, and they'll get that understanding that I've just described from all of that practice, knowing where to push, where the best overtaking opportunities are, when to just give ground to somebody because you know you're going to get it back in spadefuls 2 corners later. Wouldn't you agree, Tyler?
I would say so. I think you're not. I think the big challenge here for these guys is just going to be the depth of the field. You talk about Chris Shaw knowing his way around that car and knowing, where to use it to his advantage, and not as a dig on some of the other drivers in the GT4 TCR league, but I just think if you just look at the sheer numbers in this league, you're going to have a lot of drivers who, as Pete said, have put in that time to get familiar with this car and know how to use it to its advantage, and are going to be able to move forward that way. But at the same time, just because there's that many more drivers, the further back you find yourself, the tougher it's going to be, because even though you might know how to use the car, the driver in front of you might know how to use it as well.
Just touching on that, I've always found Spa to be one of those tracks where you can set up an overtake, so you can look at the car you're trying to get past, work out where you're better than them, and then set up the overtake to get it done cleanly.
Yeah, there's some magic places where you can do the inside out move, go wide, very slow and wide really into the corner in order to propel yourself much faster out of it. There's a massive talent to it, because you've got to avoid the back of the car in front in order to make it absolutely opportunistic and safe. And there's also this little section here. We're watching Uran at the minute. I hope that's how you say his name. Down Kemmel Straight. The draft down here, I don't know what it's like in one of these cars. I'm sure Tyler is better tooled up to know about that. But the draft in virtually any car on Kemmel Straight after Kemmel Turn is immense. And you can pull alongside safely. Often you'll see people get it very wrong because they try it from too far back with too little speed, or overspeed rather, and it means that two cars are trying to get into the same bit of tarmac, and inevitably you get crashes at that point. Tyler, what's your experience of either this car in Slipstream or this car on the Kemmel Straight?
Well, I've not driven the Lamborghini around Spa, I have to say. Spa not being one of my favorite tracks, I tend not to drive it if I don't have to. But that said, passes at the end of the Kemmel Straight are made in Eau Rouge. The better driver, the better of a run that you can get through Eau Rouge, the better your chance at overtaking at the end of the Kemmel Straight. It doesn't matter how good of a draft you have. If you get too close to the car in front of you and try to take Eau Rouge too aggressively, you lose all momentum on the exit of the corner, and the dirty air through that corner will mess it up more than the draft will help you down the straight. So you need to be smart about your run up through Eau Rouge. There's a reason it's such a famous corner. It's incredibly tricky to get right, but the drivers that do get it right are going to set themselves up for passes at the end of the straight, just as Clyde was saying.
Yeah. Sorry, Pete. Just to quickly butt in. Couple of minutes left in qualifying. Danny Crows currently sits on provisional pole. Mirko Bortolotti second, and Maximilian Hall is third, but still plenty of time to change. Back to you, Pete.
Oh, actually, if I could jump in, Clyde, I just want to highlight, we talk about these drivers knowing these cars and the drivers who have put time in. The top three at the moment all have experience driving real-world racing Lamborghinis. Danny Crows is a Lamborghini young driver, I believe, so he'll have had some time in at least a Super Trofeo car, if not the real GT3 deal. Mirko Bortolotti, obviously a super experienced GT3 driver, and Lamborghini factory driver from 2021 on. Maximilian Paul, I believe, drove Audis last year, but he has driven Lamborghinis as well, perhaps the Super Trofeo, if not the GT3 car as well. So it's not always that real-world knowledge transfers over to the sim, but it certainly seems to be the case around Spa at the moment, because the top three have more experience in real-world Lamborghinis than I would say a lot of this field has in virtual.
Yeah, it's brilliant to see these guys in here, and especially when the world is in the situation it's in with what's going on at the moment. Sim racing in general, on multiple formats, is in inverted commas benefiting from it. I don't know whether these guys were part of that transfer. Looking at their I ratings, I would say so, because you're not going to pick up those numbers in just a few months, that's for sure. But yeah, when we're talking for the guys at home who don't do sim racing, when we're talking about, or rather when Tyler is talking his words of wisdom about how dirty air spoils the car, etc., and you hear that in commentary for real racing, it's also true here. So the modelling of everything in these simulators now is getting terribly advanced. So all of that knowledge and understanding that real life driving teams have through their computer systems and everything that iRacing does to emulate that and laser map the tracks and understand aero and how that affects vehicles is emulated in this simulated service. And it's getting more and more real every year, isn't it, Tyler?
It is. Yeah, I was having a discussion with somebody, now I can't remember who, but a lot of there's a lot of talk about tire models in racing or physics in racing, and who does what better, and I think there's a lot more to it than most lay people understand. But the one thing that I think in my personal experience from driving in iRacing with some kind of background in simulation engineering is that the feedback that iRacing has implemented, or sort of the force feedback, what you get through the wheel has improved dramatically just over the last year even, and it's not, it's one of those things that's not tangible. You can't say, oh, our force feedback is X amount more realistic or whatever. It's just what you're getting, the sensation you're getting through the wheel tells you more about what the car is doing than it used to. I'm not going to compare it to other sims because that's a whole can of worms that we don't want to open on the broadcast. I don't think. But just so for the real world drivers coming in, you lose that kind of seat of the pants feel. Obviously, you don't feel the weight transfer of the car, but when you come into iRacing with the new cars and the new tire models having this kind of improved sense of feedback, it puts you in a better position because you know how to translate that feedback into performance on a real world or a virtual track, as the case may be.
Right, so quali is checkered. I think we've only got one car on the track and he's come into the pits.
He has, yeah.
So Danny Crows has got himself a pole position.
He certainly has, and he'll be wanting to defend that from those pesky other guys behind him, Mirko Bortolotti and Maximilian Paul. We'll go through the official finishing order of qualifying shortly when it ticks over. We're on a rolling start. We are, aren't we?
Yes, we are, yeah.
Sorry, I had to check. Lack of professionalism on my part. Never mind.
Spa is always a worry, isn't it? On the first lap with the cars being bunched together. There can be issues, shall we say? Especially at the end of the first straight and into that little complex. But let's hope, pray. Our first race of 2021 is going to be good, shall we say?
Yeah, you generally get 3 cars into one Eau Rouge don't go, is the mathematical equation there, and you often see it.
Yeah, a lot of the incidents around Spa usually is just people poking their noses into gaps that are always going to close. Right, so cars are gridding, so I'm sure we will have our full starting grid on the screen very, very shortly. Okay, I'll take page 1, guys. So Danny Crows puts it on pole, Marco Bortolotti in second, Maximilian Paul in third. This is the one that we've been talking about, and I'm just going to call him Pep. Pep Krivelt in fourth, Sam Keithart in fifth, Budwin Kuster in sixth, Sam Holt seventh, Jeroen Vatlet in eighth, David Plasman in ninth, Niels Langeveld in 10th, Raymond Sheffers in 11th, and Perry Pinkanen in 12th.
Very good. I'll take the second page once it kicks across. I could do it off the other screen. It should be. Off 13th will be Tom Voss. 14th will be Maciej Krolikovsky. 15th will be Jort Vijk van. 16th will be Ross Yost, or Yost, as Tyler said very poshly before. 17th is Elvis Bonello. Kevin Pone goes off 18th. 19th will be Marvin Amont. Nick Stoop goes off 20th. Andrew Van Dalen will go off 21st. 22nd will be Cass Brinkhuizen. 23rd will be Simon Van Dijk. And 24th will be Justin Nair.
25th is going to be Flo Dams. 26th, we've got Robin De Becker. Perry Oosterveer is 27th. Jensen Deleu is 28th. Jeffrey Kolmel, 29th. Yuri Tenvoord, 30th. Niels Koster, 31st. Eric Verley, 32nd, as the field is rolling. Niels De Kuiper in 33rd. David Omisi, 34th. Peter De Hughes, 35th. Kevin Van Dessel, 36th. And Stefan Vander, 37th. Julien Rambo, 38th. Ricardo Ricci Romkema, 39th. Max Van Splinteren is 40th. Richard Bukema, 41st. Quinton Floor, 42nd. And Elroy Timmer rolls off 43rd. 43 cars, that's a big field.
That's a massive field, yes. So, as we come up to the green, Danny Cruz will be hoping for a jump.
I believe they take it after La Source with this pit layout, yeah.
The back of the field may end up still in La Source, the way that the size of this grid.
I think he will gun it as soon as he gets around the corner.
Be silly not to.
They'll need to be very careful up through Eau Rouge and Radion for sure.
He's still holding him. He's still holding him. Then there's the green. He's gone on green. And he didn't get that jump, although he's a great fight there for first position straight away.
I don't know what was that?
That was one of those lovely liveried yellow and green cars.
It was. I think it's lacking some yellow and green livery now. Why are we still too wide everywhere?
Oh my goodness.
What is this? This is tremendous. I don't think I've ever seen a start.
Yeah, so like this. Literally what I was going to say when you said, what is this? I was going to say, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Formation flying all the way through.
It is. We'll have to go back at some point when this calms down and see that unfortunate incident.
Yeah, Marco Bartolotti has got in front.
There's a number of the next level cars down the order, so it could have been any one of them. I see Simon Van Dijk's dropped a few, Justin Nair has dropped a few as well. Perry Oosterveer is down. Oh dear.
Niels, there's the curse of Stacey. I think it might have been Justin Nair because he's disconnected.
It's a shame.
So just a quick message to people on the chat. If there's a driver that you want to have an accident, just let Stacey know and she will cheer for them.
Yeah, he'll have to paint his car yellow, but it should do enough to curse him.
We need to rely on Stacey because Bill's not here to curse his pick of the day.
That was close.
A deep lunge from Maximilian Paul into the final chicane, rather.
It was. That's a 1x as well for whoever's following Pet.
Absolutely.
Who is that?
That is Maximilian Paul. Yep,
right.
in the black and green Gazx car.
Yeah, he's moved back a place. You won't be happy about that.
Sam Keitur's right in there, winner at Long Beach. Thank God for that. I thought they was going too wide up Eau Rouge then.
That's nearly a 1x nearly a 1x for Sam as well if it wasn't. It was awfully close.
To be, yeah. But you do get a slowdown on the outside of there as well, don't you?
Yeah, you can take a lot of curb there, but it's also a very fine line, and you can very easily pick up a 1x. That was the swap for 14th.
Yeah, it was Sam Holt getting driving David Plasman out very, very wide.
Elvis Vanilla's down a few spots from where he started. He did not get off particularly well.
No, but he's probably playing a safe game. I mean, they were too wide all the way around. Oh, this is the replay of the starting incident. Oh, that's blue on blue, is it?
Well, I think I think that might have been Simon behind him who backed out and spun himself, but Justin still ended up spinning at the top of Radion.
There they go into the dip there, and yeah, turns himself with no contact. And then, yeah, the guy in front, who was that, Justin? Oh, crikey.
Oh, there were quite a few cars involved there.
Yeah.
And a triple Falco to end it.
Yeah. Oh, he did. I think that was a nudge.
Yeah, it definitely was, seeing that angle, for sure.
Yep. So, back at the front, I think we're going now, are we? Yep.
Oh, and that's Danny Crow's going well wide and losing second place in the process to, as we're calling him,
Yeah, he just
the
got
driver
it
of the 37 Cup.
Yeah.
Chicane.
What was that, Clyde? Sorry?
I think he just got it wrong going into the chicane.
Yeah.
It's possible to break on the grass because you set your lineup from the corner before. It's very possible to just dip a wheel into the grass and lose your braking. I wonder if that's what happened there. I think there was a little netcode contact between the two of them.
I think he bailed out of it, personally. I don't think that there was netcode in it. That's Jerome, isn't it?
Yeah, he opened that gap
He did,
through
yeah.
the middle with a can opener.
Excuse me, boys, coming through
Because
the middle.
there wasn't a gap there.
So that was a double overtake and undertake at the same time.
And somehow Danny Crow's, our pole sitter, has found himself outside the top 5.
Oh, God, yeah.
I'd like to see that move on board.
That would be, yeah.
Jerome.
Your own up the Kemmel Straight, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great.
And just like that.
No gap. No gap. No gap. Okay,
Yeah, mate.
Here I come. There's the gap.
That's brilliant.
He had no right to go through there.
No.
If there wasn't a gap.
That's genius.
Great work there from Sam.
These guys drive so close. They're so good, aren't they? Yeah, cheers, Sam. That's weird, then.
That's what you think, Sam.
Mirko likes that battling, though, because he's got himself a second. He's almost out of the tow range, actually, of Kruijsveld in second. I do love that Gaz-X livery. That is a sharp-looking car.
Yeah, the green one's very good as well. 2 cars behind him with Maximilian Paul. Same livery, it's just green.
Yep.
So we have had a message from one of the stewards that says, looks like some people are still drunk.
Mirko Bortolotti not being one of them, I don't think.
Perhaps he was talking about the commentators.
No, oh, he's fishtailing all behind him. How did he affect that pass? That's very impressive. The chicken car, if that's what I'm going to call it.
Yeah.
Must have been going slow up towards Radion.
Any? Ooh, there's a couple of the a couple of the Roaring Chicken Nuggets cars and a couple of the Kart Academy cars in there.
Yeah.
And the Kart Academy cars are moving forward while the Chicken Nugget cars are moving backwards. It's an excellent team name.
It is, yeah.
So in your wildest dreams, Tyler, did you ever think you'd ever, in 2021, you'd get to commentate on chicken nuggets?
I can honestly say I did not. Not in my wildest dreams.
Or just hear me say the chicken car, which made me laugh, so I couldn't even correct myself. Yeah, there's a very beaten up Lamborghini somewhere around this lot. We saw the front of it a minute ago. It was properly smashed up, but I can't find it now.
That is Nick Soup trying to get back on Jordan Venwick, who claimed that position. So still some fight in those chicken nuggets.
Yeah, Mirko's got almost a 2-second lead now.
Yep, he's definitely stretching it out. And there are some gaps being pulled here now. Ooh, that's a slow car on the inside there.
It looked like a similar thing. Yeah, it did look like a similar thing to what happened to Danny Kroos, just in too deep.
Yeah.
And losing the position to a recovering Sam Koiter.
Yeah, you don't want to cut that corner, do you? Because that slowdown means you get mugged by about 20 cars at this point in the race because everybody's so close to you. It's better to basically stop the car in the middle of the chicane and not take... Oh, that's bad.
Oh, that was... Niels, I think, scared somebody into that as he was having a look all the way up the front stretch.
Yeah,
I don't think there was contact there.
No. No replay. I'll have to watch it on the stream.
So he's going up the...
Oh, there was a nudge. Yeah, there was just a little nudge.
A bit of a bump and run.
Yeah, and whoever... the red and white car was lucky.
Yeah, he just missed him.
I'm not sure who that was. It might have been Flo. No, it was. Oh, I think it was Elvis. It was Elvis Spinella who was the red and white car there.
He was very, very lucky then.
Yeah.
Message on Facebook from David Ayres about my lack of cake. I have no cake tonight, but I do have a Toblerone.
Oh,
that's a squeeze. Who is that?
One of the Kart Academy cars, but they're blinking quite badly.
Yeah, they were doing that at Long Beach, if you remember.
Yeah, that's Richard Buchema, I think.
There's that banged up front. Oh, it's him.
Yeah, I think a lot of the drivers were complaining about that on the grid.
Right.
Oh dear. Jeffrey Comel just carried a bit too much speed in there. He was under pressure from Elvis Bonello at the time. Oh, and...
Oh, you don't want to do that.
Not the way to... good to get himself out of harm's way from sitting on the edge of the track there, but a little too aggressive with the reverse.
Rage reverse there. I saw green and black and thought it was Maximilian Paul for a second.
No, there's quite a few green cars actually. I suppose that is kind of one of Lamborghini's colors, so that's not all that shocking. But no, different. Fortunately, a different one. Maximilian Paul still holding on to third place, so would be if they finish this way, would be good points for the Gaz X team with first and third.
Yeah, and these two have been at it for a while, haven't they? Sam Holt and David Plasman.
Yeah, Plasman got passed by Sam Koiter on his recovery a lap or two ago in the final corner, but Sam has been kind of right there for the whole way. I think Sam Koiter was just kind of working his way back through. So it must have been Niels Coaster who was spun by the other Niels.
Oh no, it definitely was, yeah.
Yeah.
That was Niels on Niels.
And we've got a third Niels in trouble here. Niels de Kuiper with a very similar incident.
Sadly, I can't see it at the moment.
Yeah, just there was a car inside of him into the source. That one was a bit further along, but he just got the nudge around. So all sorts of trouble if your name is Niels today. Yeah. Not a good day for the Niels. Frenchfeld isn't really getting away from Maximilian Paul here. I feel like that gap was a little wider the last time I looked. I don't know if he's had some trouble or is just losing pace a bit.
Maybe, but as they make their way towards Blanchimont, that Jeroen Vatlet has made up 4 places from the start, and now he's honing in on the back of Maximilian Paul's car in 3rd. So he's doing a really good job this race. Danny Crow's not so much. He's dropped back quite a long way.
It's true. I was about to say Jeroen has had a bit of a sneaky race, and then I remembered his move up the Camel Straight. So he's made his presence known, but for the most part, he's just kind of been picking up the pieces left by the troubles of the cars in front of him, I have to say, including Danny Crows, who we just saw, Sam Coiter, they had their issue.
Well, Jeroen, and he's taken Boudou and Custer with him. They've caught the back of Maximilian Paul now.
Yeah, you get the sense that Kruijsveld might be the cork in the bottle here with the way they're stacking up behind him just a bit. Certainly helping Mirko to scamper away, but you see him weaving on the straight, the kind of sure sign of somebody who knows they're a bit higher up than they should be.
Yeah, definitely trying to break though.
But that was a good move by Paul, who set that up through Eau Rouge to get the run down the coming straight. That was well done.
We've lost Terry oversteered.
Oh, how?
Just
he was
manually disconnected.
He was involved in that lap 1 crash in Eau Rouge. He was one of the cars that spun off.
Oh, that's a bump.
And a slowdown for Jort van Week. So that was, I think, the revenge of the chicken nuggets there.
I think it was. I've just seen Nick Stoops' picture on the internet, and he looks like some sort of rock star.
Or a nugget. And in the meantime, Mirko continues to stretch his lead, doesn't he?
He does.
It'll be interesting.
Seconds.
It will be interesting to see if his teammate can close that down at all. Now he's got into 2nd, but he hasn't been able to run away from Pepin yet. There will be a pit stop too. It's important to remember the cars are limited to 60% fuel, so everyone will have to make at least 1 fuel stop. Don't know that anyone will try and undercut, given I don't think they'll be taking tires, but at some point we will probably see cars further back start to make their pit stops.
Yeah, I can't believe you'd take tyres on a 1-hour race. There's no way unless you absolutely muller them.
No, or you were set back and are trying to make up ground any way you can. That's the only reason I could see to do it. But as there's another position for Niels, who is trying to get his way back through.
Yeah, we've also lost Niels Costa, who manually disconnected not long ago as well.
I don't think he was too damaged from his run-in with the other Niels, so presumably he had some other sort of incident later on.
Here we go with the stringy train of trying to break the toe. Down Camel Straight.
And Jeroen went for a move there, but
he did.
There was not an opening.
Oh, and he's might lose a place here to Boudou and Custer.
Yeah, he's looking quick, isn't he?
He is.
He certainly is showing quite a bit of pace. The way he reeled in those 2 in front of him, and with his 3-wide pass, he's made his presence felt, I have to say.
I don't think I've separated these 4 for quite a while.
No, and you know, as we were talking about at the start, there is the prominent toe effect. We've seen them try and break it, but it does tend to keep groups like this together for quite a while.
stop talking about nuggets because he's getting hungry. Is there such a thing as a chicken nugget pie?
I was just going to say the same thing. He's probably had one, let's face it. Or several. Oh, no. Oh, dearie me. That was a last of the late breakers, that.
He's not backwards at coming forwards, is he?
No, he's not. That was crazy. How did they not make contact? No netcode here.
No, definitely not. Yet.
Yeah, there is not. So again, for anybody new to sim racing or online racing that's watching, netcode is where two cars connect, even though there's visible distance between them in the simulator, because their respective pings mean that the simulator finds their cars at different places at the same time. So what they look like they're at, they are not.
Yeah, basically the simulator guesses where they think the car is going to be.
Yes. Oh, that's a shortcut.
That's a shortcut. That's Sam Keithart again.
Yeah, that was our race winner from last time out.
Yeah.
He's got some work to do. He's currently in 7th, down 2 positions from his start position. But doing a bit better than Danny Crows, who's immediately in front of him. Oh dear.
That's Kevin Powen.
Done a similar thing by the look of it. Run straight on or spun the car on his own. There's nobody near him. Spun the car on his own, yeah. Slow slide of shame. Nearly took out Sam Holt's teammate.
Looked like a nice safe recovery.
It did, yeah.
People would just turn left there, wouldn't they?
Yeah. I think my SDK must be playing up because it's got Maximilian Paul down in 11.
He's just spun.
He's just spun.
Yeah.
He's been, well, I should say he's been spun by Pepin there.
Right. Well, the one time that I disbelieve SDK.
Yeah.
Right. Oh dear.
Let's have a look.
There was definitely some contact there in the double left-hander.
Yeah, double go.
Yeah, looks like it.
I don't know if it was a squeeze or if it was
Oh, that's another overtake
just
here
running
from
wild,
Uran.
but
On Uran, I should say.
yeah, he's fighting back though, and he's got the inside line into the source.
He does, but cars come together here quite quickly. It's so tight. But no, they've given each other plenty of room there, and he's going to get the cut back here, and he'll be on the right side now for Eau Rouge. But the wrong side for Radion, so let's see what happens. They're going to go line astern. Yeah. Safely done, boys. And he'll get the run.
Be interested now to see if Pep can get his head down and do anything about Mirko.
True. And if these guys keep fighting, he will get that distance.
I have to say, I'm surprised that Danny Crows hasn't been able to make his way back up there, because he was obviously quick. You know, he sat on the pole today, but he's just kind of been sat back behind this group and not really able to close the distance to them.
You think he's got
Tactical, maybe?
It could be. You know, he could just be saving fuel and tires, but you'd think the better way to do that would to be at the back of that pack and able to receive the tow, because it allows you to lift a little bit earlier and save a bit more fuel. So I'm not so sure. You know, he could have some damage from his incident with Sam, but it might just be lack of pace.
So Robin DeBecker getting very, very close term racing with Jason Luda.
Don't see any damage to Danny Crow's car, because it would have been on that left side.
He's a bit in no man's land, isn't he?
Yeah, but it might be underfloor damage or something like that, because that can affect your straight line speed, can't it?
It's true.
Yeah, a splitter or something over on the back of somebody else's car, really. It's not always visible.
Or has he just picked up a lot of incident points?
That's a good point.
Also possible.
Try and find out.
I'm showing, and this is never quite accurate. It probably includes practice and qualifying too, but I'm showing quite a few incidents for basically everyone towards the front of this field.
It's so easily done, though, isn't it, Spa? It's
Yep.
every
Well,
corner.
the reason I say it's probably not totally accurate is because several of them would have had to have made a drive-through by now with the numbers I'm showing. But
Right.
I think even if that includes some practice and qualifying, these guys are still picking them up. Oh, who's that around? That's another one of the Kart Academy cars, isn't it?
I think it was. Should be dropping on my screen, but my screen seems to have frozen a little bit.
It's Jensen DeLu. Did he get teammate help?
Oh no, really? Well,
Yes,
yes,
he did.
Yeah. It was a
He
big
did.
send, weren't it, to start with?
It was. It did seem like he turned in a bit there on Yort, but it was certainly, you'd expect teammates to give each other a bit more room.
Exactly, yeah.
You're right, though. He shouldn't have turned in when he did. He should have continued to give room. Yort's car was very much fully alongside.
Now, is Maximilian Paul losing or gaining a position?
I'm not sure, but Tom Voss is all over the back of him, isn't he?
Yeah, like a
Yeah.
bad rush at the minute.
And the last time I looked, Maximilian was 14 seconds off the lead, and now he's showing 16. So he certainly lost some time, but that could just be, pace from Mirko Bortolotti at the front.
Yeah. I mean, there's no real opportunity through Double Gauche. Well, you could take a shallow line into the next corner, but there's no advantage to it. You're really waiting now for the chicane, aren't you?
Yeah, that's pretty much the only spot from here till the start of the next lap. You do wonder if maybe he's just overheated his tires with that spin and is still struggling to get them kind of back there.
It can take them a long time to cool down, especially around a track that's as fast as Spa, because you maintain the heat, don't you, going through all these fast lefts and rights?
Well, absolutely, and it's lots of fast corners with little to no camber. Which doesn't help at all to get the tire temps down. So it's certainly possible that that's what we're seeing for Maximilian.
Here's Stacey's car. About to trade some paint, potentially. No, he's been given lots of room there. And that's a clean overtake for Niels Langveld on Andrew van Dalen.
I believe that was Kaz Brinkhuizen, actually.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Andrew is his next target.
Oh, sorry, yes, that's correct, yeah.
Some 6 seconds up the road.
My apologies, I can't read. Now, these three are still stuck together.
Yeah, I have to... Ooh, that was...
There's a bit too much weaving going on for my liking, if I'm honest.
Some cheeky defending from Pepe. And I think it's pretty clear at this point that he doesn't really have the pace to pull away from any of these cars behind him. Certainly not to close up on Mirko, who is just continuing to run away with this.
Yeah, that could be construed as intentional blocking more than trying to break a toe, right? Do they have live race direction in this one?
I don't think so, no.
No, I don't think
I wouldn't go as far as saying it was blocking, but to me, it's always you're putting so much trust in the other cars. Somebody gets it wrong, and you lose 10 positions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it opens yourself up to be a part of someone else's mistake, even if it's not illegal, even if it's not dirty. Making a move like that late, you have to be very cognizant of the driver behind and where they are, and that seemed to me to be pretty marginal from Pepin. He just needs to kind of make his move and stick with it, because even if he gets run over and taken out and it's not directly his fault, he's out of the race or out of contention, and there's something that he could have done about it. So
Yep. So here we go again with these three. They are no further apart than they were last lap, so let's see what happens this time. So we're at last source. We took it in here, take a huge amount of curb just there.
And we've got our
bit wide.
we've got our first pit caller from 6th place is Danny Crows.
Oh, we do now.
Or 5th place, rather, after the trouble for Maximilian Paul. So we're not far from halfway, so pretty much what you would
Let's see what happens here through Camel Turn. He's right tucked up underneath. He's popped out of the slipstream now, and Pep's on the grass. That's not going to help his cause. There's a back marker in front that might act as a pick.
Yeah, that's Elvis Bonello, who we've seen quite a bit of today.
We have.
Pepin tried the over-under, but not really something you can do with the quick cut back to the left and the right there. And I think that position is pretty much done and dusted.
Yeah, Lake Coombe is not a place where you can really get it back. It's too fast, isn't it?
No, it's too. You want to do the over/under in like a chicane sequence of 2 corners, but the problem is you've got 3 because there's that quick right-hander immediately after, so you don't really have time to set up yourself alongside before that corner.
Yeah.
And that's what we saw there.
This is a different battle. Trying to pick the bones out of this one. This is Kevin Pone and with Robin de Becker in front of him and Jort van Wijkvan in front of him.
I think it's Van White.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the way that the software puts the name.
Well, that's just naughty of SDK, isn't it?
I think it's iRacing that does it that way because it only recognizes like one last name if it's. I'm not sure how it works because the van is lowercase or something. It's weird, but I'm pretty sure that it is your van.
Okie dokie.
Similarly, I think it's Jensen DeLu, who is on our software as Jensen Liu De.
That's good. I see Robin de Becker has sorted it out on his own by making his de capital.
Yes. Curious that Kuster is in. Given he had finally gotten to the front of that battle, you'd think he'd want to kind of secure that track position, but maybe he just wanted to get out of the battle.
No, maybe he was absolutely committed to one strategy and he's keeping to it.
It's possible. Yeah, certainly.
Because you're right, if you've got clear track in front of you, maybe he didn't want to give the toe to the cars behind him and decided, you know what, I'm not going to give you an advantage, I'm going to go and pit now.
Yeah, it certainly could be.
So we're still with these guys. They are getting caught by the 2 cars behind them. And now we've switched to Sam Coiter again, who's now in 4th with pit stops in play. With David Plasman just behind him, and Sam Holt, who's been with David Plasman for nearly the whole race, actually.
He has, yes. I'm actually surprised to see them both back with Sam. I wonder if something, with Sam Coiter, that is, I wonder if something has happened to him to set him back, or if they've just found a bit of pace. But they are. I just wanted to mention that they are using the endurance pit layout at Spa, which takes approximately, 16 years to get through.
Yeah.
So what that means is we're seeing the drivers who make their pit stops come out pretty much behind the entire field. But the good news for them is that they're pretty much in clean air behind the entire field because it takes so long to get through the pit lane. So it'll be a little bit before they run up on any back markers.
And I think Sam Holt might be playing a very, very clever game here. Since lap 1, he's just found cars to run behind and possibly save fuel.
Reduce his pit stop time.
Yeah, possibly go longer and reduce his time, come out in front of him with the undercut.
Yep, that could be a good one. We'll keep an eye on that one.
And this could very well be a top 5 that they're looking at. I was just looking where Danny Kroes came out relative to Boudewijn Custer, and he is 3 to 4 seconds back and separated by a couple of cars who have not made their pit stops yet. So,
Pep's in.
Yep, right you are. As is Maximilian Paul behind him. I think if ever there was a car that was going to take tires, I wonder if it wouldn't be Maximilian Paul, given how he seemed to be struggling after his spin.
Oh, that's a straight on for Max van Splunteren. I hope that's him on that car.
On the side of his car.
I hope it's him.
We need to see that again, Sam. That's a brilliant paint.
It is funny.
Max
That's
Van
what I think.
Splunterum, please. Side on. And a bit closer. There it is. It's Pete.
If that was, I'm not wearing a dress.
And
So,
sorry,
Max, if you watch this back, please tell us if that's you or not.
If it is, you are a very happy boy.
And a very handsome man.
sorry to interject again. I'm just looking at time in box from drivers who have made their stops, and it looks like there are some who have taken tires, including Raymond Sheffers. We have basically the fuel-only stops are 19 to 20 seconds, and we have a number of stops that happened at the same time, which are taking 44, 45 seconds, which seems about right for the for taking tires as well, about 25 extra seconds on the stop.
Do they do all four at the same time on these cars, or is it one tire at a time?
I believe it's one tire at a time, or perhaps
right.
kind of two at a time. I'm not sure how it's set up, but not many opting to take tires, which is not a surprise at all, because you have to be pretty confident in your pace to make up 25 seconds.
And the travel time down the 16-mile pit lane.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. That's almost 2 minutes of total time in pit, from pit in to pit out.
Yeah. I mean, the difference is exclusively the tires, obviously, but it's a big sacrifice either way, because that 2 minutes could put you behind a huge amount of other drivers, possibly less capable than you for a few laps.
And if you're not too far behind the lead, it puts you a lap down.
There's a massive entry to the pits now.
Yeah.
Are they all piling in?
And of note, your thoughts on Sam Holt appear to be correct, because he has gone an additional lap to just about everybody. He's currently in the lead of this race. Rossios, the other driver who has not made his stop yet.
Is he in? No, he's not in. Rossios was like jumping about on my screen as if he'd gone in and come back out again straight away.
No, I'm showing him still on track, about 8 or 9 seconds behind Sam.
So Pep has found himself a Boudouin Custer.
No, well, Custer's just gone past him, like Pep was in reverse.
Oh, right. Sorry, I must have missed that, looking at a different screen.
Yeah, if you remember before the pit stop, Custer did pass Pep for the third spot, I think. And they switched back after the pit stop,
So where will your own come out here? We saw him on the pit exit road. He's going to be behind both of these drivers, though.
He is. There they go.
And he's probably not going to be up to speed enough to make anything happen down the end of the Kemmel Straight. As expected, Mirko Bortolotti well out in front of this group.
7 seconds is his lead at this point in time, with all the shenanigans between these three.
Yeah, you never want to jinx anybody, but you have to think it's Mirko's race to lose at this point.
Oh, without a doubt.
As this is the resumption of the Maximilian Paul-Tom Voss battle.
Smiler Max Van Splunterum getting out the pits, trying to get a bit of tow on his way up the Kemmel Straight into Lake Coombe.
Sam Holt is in the pits from the race lead. Presumably Rossios will follow shortly. Yep, there he is. So that's everybody now on their way into the pits who has not made a stop yet. And just looking down the order, Raymond Sheffers, who I mentioned is one of the drivers who took tires, is currently the highest running and one of only 2 or 3 cars who did take tires. Definitely fuel only for just about everybody. Interestingly, Sam Koitert had a long pit stop. He was in his box for about 8 seconds longer than anybody else. So I'm not sure what that was.
I looked at his car before, and I thought that it had front end damage. I might have been wrong.
It's possible. He'd certainly had some contact earlier on in the race. Maybe he came in, or he took a bit. Oh, and he's in the pits again, maybe for a drive-through incident.
I think this is a replay, is it? No, it's definitely
No,
live.
it's live. Yeah, no, he's definitely in the pits once again. So,
a lot of times race winner gets 2 pit stops this time.
I'd imagine this is a drive-through for over the incident limit, which is just an absolute nightmare at in the endurance pit Spa. I mean, talk about time loss. It's going to be nearly a minute and a half.
And it's not over yet. He's still got this portion of it to do. It's going to set him back. I don't think he's going to be the only one, though, so we'll have to watch out for that. I think there's going to be a whole bunch of people going to pile through there before the end of this race. Is that another one?
That's Sam still, yeah. Now,
right.
what has happened to
3
Danny
days
Crows? Where is Danny Crows?
Hang on a minute.
He is in 34th, 2 minutes down.
Wow.
So now, has he made a second trip through pit lane? No, he just spent 9 minutes in his pit stall, so he must have had significant repairs.
Yes, I was going to say he was slower than you'd expect him to be. He'd already dropped 5 or 6 places from his start position, and was struggling to keep up, because even you were saying, Tyler, that it's surprising he hadn't made up any of those positions.
Yeah, and actually I'm not showing him progressing on track or accumulating pit time, so he must be in the process of a tow, or has already withdrawn from the race.
Now, Sam Coiter just popped up onto the jack.
He did, didn't he? He's took tyres, and Danny Crows has left the session.
Okay, so 2 of our front runners having trouble around the same time. I wonder if perhaps Sam served his drive-through the last time around and this is his pit stop. But no, that can't be, because he did have time installed before. So maybe he did serve his penalty and now he's just taking tires and damage repairs because, you know, at this point the race is lost.
Yeah. So we're with Tom Voss currently, with Maximilian Paul in front of him and Masha Kolikowski hailing him. A very loud painted car, that from Masha, isn't it?
One of a number for sure.
Yeah.
Sam Holt did actually get that 5th position.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he did indeed. By almost 2 seconds over David Plasman. Seeing, I'm not showing Danny Crows in my replay, but
That's coming together on top of the radio, someone else, which is probably Stefan van der Velde.
I was gonna say it wasn't Sam Coiter, was it?
No, that's Stefan van der Velde. So
Yep, there it is. I have it now.
That's painful for the cars.
Well, they just seem to draw themselves into each other, didn't they?
Which is weird is that I did not get any incidents except an off-track.
Huh.
And I don't show all the off-tracks in Spark because I spend my time on replays.
Yes, yeah.
This is Max Van Plunteren chasing down your Van White.
Yeah, he's doing well.
He is, he's doing very well. He's moved up, according to my screen, if my screen's not lying, 22 positions. Is that what you're showing?
It is, yeah.
That's crazy.
I wonder if that means he started in 40th, which I would imagine means he didn't get a qualifying time, so...
Yeah, I would think, yeah.
Perhaps with off-tracks spoiling his quick laps.
Well, I think he's currently frightening people off the track with that paint.
It certainly would do the trick, wouldn't it?
Yeah, can you imagine that piling towards you? You'd be like, what is that? I mean, he's quick round these turns, isn't he? He's taking time out of York there very easily. Meanwhile, Pep continues to follow Buda and Custer. Oh no, what's that?
That's Yort and Splinter in there.
It is.
Looked similar to what we saw with the Niels.
Yeah, a Lasso's nudge.
That is a late move.
Very.
I don't think there's...
Oh,
and then... Who is that? That's one of the... That's Flo for Airborne Racing.
Yeah.
Who I believe, just based on the paint, is a teammate to Sam Holt.
Yes,
place.
definitely.
So this is Raymond Sheffers, who is on fresh tires. Currently the highest running of the cars on fresh tires. He is showing down 8 spots from where he started. I don't know if that's just because of taking tires at the pit stop or if that was
it's quite possible, isn't it?
In the race. Yeah, it certainly. You know, an extra 25 seconds. You know, if you look 25 seconds up the road, that would put him in 12th, which is 6 spots up. So probably, or 7 spots up rather. So probably pretty similar.
Yeah, Danny Crows has put a message on the chat. Wrong setup, found speed with it. Mega undercut would have been back in the top 4, but got crashed into by a back marker.
Oh dear.
So, yeah, I think less than happy, obviously. He's retired from the race now. And that's a shame. Hopefully we'll see him back at the pointy end of the field next time round.
He certainly had the pace, especially if he thinks that was the wrong setup. He was setting the timing sheets on fire there. I am curious if he was just waiting for the undercut or if he had damage there. I don't know if he's still on the chat, but if he could mention, because he was, you know, just kind of hanging back from that lead group for a while.
That was interesting. You could see... Oh, hang on, what's going on here?
What on earth?
What is that?
Do they both have drive-thrus?
Maybe.
That's the only thing I can think of, honestly. You know, they did come together earlier on in the
I've never seen 2 cars fighting to get in pit lane before.
No.
That's so impressive. There's a nudge on the back of Maximilian Paul's car from Tom Voss. Just a reminder that he's there.
Yeah, I do wonder if the contact between Yort and Flo put both of them over the incident limit. I'll watch to see if they stop in their box here, but...
Yeah, cheers.
I'm also wondering if York will get an unsafe pit entry penalty for that.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So he might find himself driving through twice.
Yeah, which would be killer here.
Well, the race ending, wouldn't it?
Yep. So neither of them is showing having stopped in the box yet, with about a minute of pit travel time in. And okay, so we've got Yort stopping and Flo passing through. So you wonder if they were both serving a penalty, but Yort had that extra pit entry penalty.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, doesn't it?
Changed it to a stop and hold rather than a drive-through. Yep.
Oh, he's popped up.
The battle won't seem to go away between Maximilian Paul and Tom
No,
Paul.
no.
So. And Maximilian's in the pit lane.
Yeah.
So have we reached the point in the race where people are starting to go over the limit?
I think we must be.
Yep.
He's holding, right. That's very interesting. So that little nudge that, hang on a minute, Tom Voss, was it Tom Voss?
No, it was...
hang on a minute.
It was the Max Van Splinteren car. the face car on.
No, I was meaning for Maximilian Paul.
Oh yeah, then it would have likely been Tom Voss. Yeah, those were the that were battling.
That might be the nudge that put him over.
And here's a change for 5th place. That's Plasman back on Sam Holt.
Those two are going to get their names swapped around at some point, aren't they? We do this to people.
And now Voss on Krolikowski for 8th.
Yeah. I think we're going to have to call them Sam Plasman and David Holt. Because they've been together for so long, they are now one entity. There they are again.
Oh my goodness. That's that is not a corner you go through too wide. No. They're costing themselves. Ooh, that'll end that for now. I was gonna say they're costing themselves bucketfuls of time by battling like that.
Yeah.
Great for us. I love it, but it's not helping their cause at all.
Well, they've still got a few seconds to the car behind, haven't they? So
yeah, they need it. They need every second.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think Sam Holt would have picked up some more incident points there.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
Well, they both would, because even if it was a 0 contact, they're both going to pick up his off track. Because you get a 0 convert into a 1, don't you? If the time is very short between the incident and the 0x and the incident.
Yep.
Oh, well, that's a heavy drift. Oh, is that a send? I think it is, but he's made it work. No, he didn't make it work.
No.
He pulled out in the middle of the chicane.
Yeah.
And just oh, right, sorry. Yep, Tyler's answered that question. Cheers, Tyler.
Well, and Sam beat me to it as well. So.
Yeah.
But yes, everybody has made a pit stop at this point. So if you see anybody coming down pit lane, it's either for a penalty or for damage repairs. And given it's Spa, it's almost certainly a penalty.
Without a doubt. So this is Maciej Krolikowski trying to go around the outside of Tom Voss. I don't think that'll work at Lecum.
Now, here's Niels Langeveld has managed to get all the way back up to 12th place. That's pretty impressive, given he was back in the 20s after his spin, I think, somewhere like 25th, 26th. So,
yeah.
Backspun splintering again as well. I mean,
putting the frighteners on somebody, isn't he?
Yeah, he's picking them up and putting them down, though, isn't he?
Yeah. As soon as he gets alongside and the other car looks left or right, sees that pace, that the move is done.
Yeah. The back marker getting well out of the way there. And here we are with Sam Plasman and David Holt.
Can't believe how quick this race has gone. We've got less than 10 minutes to go.
It's just bonkers, isn't it? 50 minutes of racing like that. Vanished.
when you've got a field like this, it helps. I mean, talk about, you know, I've said it already, but talk about the quality and depth of a field. You know, it doesn't get much deeper than this, I wouldn't say.
And again, these two are in fact, I'm going to go one further now. These guys are now collectively known as Damn Holtman. So Maciej Krolikowski still trying to get a number done on Tom Voss. He might do it here at the last source, but as Clyde's just pointed out, they're going to run out of time soon. So we might see some more dramatic overtaking as we get towards the end of this race.
It's certainly a track that lends itself to dramatic overtaking.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And dramatic overtaking leads to contacts, and contacts lead to incident points, and incident points lead to drive-throughs.
Hey.
Or post-race penalties if you get it close enough to the end.
Yeah. Oh.
Defensive line plasma there.
Well, just breaking the toe, I think.
Me? Yep. Yeah, certainly. It accomplishes both, for sure.
Yeah.
But he saw he had the gap and tucked it back in. That's Krolikowski going for a wiggle.
If you were in the car in front at that point, you'd be giggling, wouldn't you? Because he was about 3 car lengths back.
Oh, he wouldn't be giggling now because he has got a huge run on Tom Boss. That was an impressive run into Brussels, but not able to get it done.
No.
Get the feeling it's a matter of time, though, the way he's pushing.
Yeah, and like I said, like Clyde said...
Oh, that's going to be it.
Yeah.
Tom went wide. Oh, that's...
Left him just enough room. That was good. Is he going to get it stopped?
He'll try and get the cutback, though, and he might just...
Does he run wide there? I can't see for the tree.
Oh,
there we go.
Oh, goodness.
That's close.
Bend, and Tom's definitely going to have a look there.
That's brave or stupid, one of the two. Oh, he's in his car, basically. He's done it. He's done it. Because he's going to block past in here. He's not done it.
No, he should do because it's a double
Look at the
right.
car behind. Look, Ross Yost, he's thinking all his Christmases are right here.
Yeah. But he just has to back off because there's nothing you can do through here. You're not going to go through the kink.
And if they collect them each other, you're going to get collected too if you're too close.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh,
but
that's wide.
We should have a move here.
Yeah.
That's more X's.
No.
You don't get a slowdown there though, because I've done that a few times.
I think Ross is playing this smart, you know? Just let these two play out their battle. Chances are, you know, you're not going to be able to make any better of a move than Krolikowski's making right now. So just let him do the fighting for you and take what there is at the end.
Here comes Max with his scary face car. He's done another. Terrified
14th.
and pride. Terrified him.
I tell you, as soon as he's alongside, that's it, game over.
He's up 26 spots from the start. Goodness.
Ridiculous. Andrew Van Dalen, who's 2 positions in front, is up 10 places.
Yep.
So there's some good movers in this field.
Yeah, I think, you know, while the big movers is we have another attempt into Lacombe. Oh, that's difficult. Oh, that's impressive. My goodness.
That is good. He's not done it though.
No, of course not.
And here comes Ross.
Yeah, Ross has decided time to play.
He's got tears written all over it.
Yeah. There's going to be some spares, some Lamborghini spares around for people.
Anyway, the point that I was about to make before these all went side by side was that, you know, the big movers are certainly impressive, but they do have the advantage of you know, picking up places from cars who have trouble. I think you know, the drivers who impress me are Custer in second, Vatlet, Plasman, all those guys up 4 spots. You know, to gain that many positions at the front of the field takes pace, and I think
absolutely.
guys have really shown some impressive pace today.
And
all of them really.
We have to send a message to Mirko Bortolotti, who's been leading this race for a massive amount of time, and he's 8.5 seconds ahead at the moment. You'd get more footage if you were near other cars.
Yeah.
At the moment, you're just dominating the race. So, congratulations, but there's far more action going on further back.
I think we've got one more lap after this one for the leader.
Okay.
That sounds about right.
If Kaz Brinkhausen does overtake Niels Langeveld, he'll want to make himself unknown to everybody because Stacey will come and find him and might kill him. I'll be back very shortly.
I hope so. There's not much left.
Well, this battle's going to the end, isn't it? These two.
Yeah, for sure. Oh goodness. The moves around the outside into Lacombe are just. You have to be a little brave and a little stupid to try it. And all these guys seem to be talented enough to not take everybody out in the process, which is impressive.
Yeah, David Plasman was clever there. He just put his car in the middle of the track and basically said to Sam Holt, you know, you can try the impossible around the outside because it's not going to happen.
Exactly. quite a few of these are coming right down to the wire. Krolikowski's back within half a second of Tom Voss, with Ross Yost just a half second behind him as well. So that one's not done, with a lap and a half to go.
Yeah, I think this is the one, or the Krolikowski one is the one most likely to end in tears, I think.
It certainly seems that way. It helps that there's 3 cars involved in that one as opposed to 2 in all the others. Peter de Hoos and Simon van Dijk in 22nd, having their own battle here for...
Yeah, Simon van Dijk has remodeled the front of his Lamborghini by the looks of it.
You're not going to make something happen here, Sam. Yeah, he took a shallow line through there, and it really killed his exit. If you want to set up the pass there, you have to get a good run through the kink. And he just...
Whoa!
Oh, goodness. Last lap for the race leaders. As this now... Oh, this is...
This is Maximilian Paul.
Yes,
he's
yep,
got
and you are.
involved in this battle, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Having served his penalty.
He could pick up a couple of places. He's got another lap after this, hasn't he? Because he's obviously not entered his white flag lap. Here's Dan Holtman again. Maybe they'll get themselves sorted out and separated.
That's
Brothers
optimistic.
from other mothers.
Big defence there.
Massive.
And there's Voss and Krolikowski trading places.
Yeah, side by side.
Braking.
There's going to be tears here, so I can see it.
Oh, but he made it stick.
He did.
That was smart moves by both of them there. Voss for knowing how hard he could push to make it stick, and Krolikowski for trying to back the corner up and tuck it back under, but it didn't work out.
Yeah, Nick Stoop on the maximum defensive again.
Yep. Another battle involving a next level racing car.
Yeah,
They seem to
Kevin
be in quite
Cohen.
a few towards the end here.
Yeah.
There's Paul on Jensen DeLue, I think.
Yes, I think you're absolutely right.
Done and dusted. This is not done and dusted, however.
No.
Nor will it be till they cross the line, I have to believe.
Yeah.
Now they do start past La Source, but I believe the timing line is still the one on the front stretch.
Yeah, and this is Mirko Bortolotti about to take the checkered flag. Congratulations, Mirko.
You look like a professional out there today, and he is, so.
Yeah. Here we go, though. This is where the terrifying action is. This is a last-ditch effort here, I think, for a cutback. Looking at the lines taken. One switch, and this is the switchback. Is he going to do it?
Oh, he spun the tires just a bit.
Oh, that's this close.
Oh,
Oh.
a little less wheel spin, and he has that done.
Yeah.
This ends, miraculously, it ends how it was for the final few
Yeah.
laps.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Neil's going to hang on to 12th, it looks like.
Kevin's had to give best to Nick Stoop.
Indeed he has.
With Max Van Splunteren in the distance. With his scary face car. That's a long lunge, isn't it?
That's Verlet on
Simon Van
Zulu.
Dijk?
No, that's Verlet, I believe. On
Oh, is that
Zulu.
there? Right.
Yep.
Simon Van Dijk must be the car behind then.
Yep. Exactly.
Right. And Peter de Hoos. And a car we've seen very little of, really. Jeffrey Colemill.
Yeah, I believe he had a spin earlier on. He's the one who reversed into the wall, I think.
Yes.
Not to make everyone remember his unfortunate incident earlier on. But
He's got a number of scrapes on all four sides of his car.
he does seem to, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. And then somewhere behind him is Flo d'Arms. who I expected to see further up the field, to be fair.
Yeah, he had a bit of trouble as well, but just kind of mired back here in the midfield all race.
Yeah. Some simulation driving there in the distance. So that was a ridiculously entertaining race. That hour vanished in a moment.
Yeah, it certainly it started and then it finished, didn't it? It was one of them.
Utterly crazy driving, as in brilliant standards. I suppose we better roll through these this finishing order. So your race winner by a whopping nearly 9 seconds was Mirko Bortolotti for GazX Racing Team. Fantastic victory. Second is Boudouin Custer, who is a privateer. Third was Pep in car 37 for Volante Racing. Fourth was Jeroen Vatlet for Simworld GT Racing. Well, this is one half of... does that mean that there was a penalty served on Sam Holt? Because
it must be. Yep.
David Plasman has finished 5th, but his genetic brother, who wouldn't leave him all race, is 16th, so we'll get to that eventually. Perry Pineken for Team DRC finished 6th. Tom Voss finished 7th, privateer. Majesh Krolikovsky for Superpower Racing finished 8th. Ross Yost finished 9th for Volante Racing. Andrew Van Dalen for Airborne Racing finished 10th. 11th was Niels Langveld for T3 Motorsport. Cass Brinkenhuizen for Next Level Racing finished 12th. 13th was Max van Splunteren in his scary face car, a privateer. 14th was Nick Stoop in the Roaring Chicken Nuggets car, or the first of them. 15th was Kevin Pone in Next Level Racing by SJS Esports. Then Sam Holt, so yes, he must have been served a penalty in 16th. 17th was Robin De Becker for Roaring Chicken Nuggets again. And then 18th was Maximilian Paul, surprisingly, for Gaz X Racing Team.
A few more finishers there. Jensen DeLue in 19th, ahead of Eric Verlet. Simon Van Dyke, a couple of next level cars there. Raymond Sheffers in 22nd, Jeffrey Colmel 23rd, Peter DeHuys in 24th. Flo Dams, as we mentioned, the last lead lap finisher in 25th. Niels de Kuiper 26th. Elvis Bonello, who had some trouble today, 27th. I suppose everyone from here on out had a little bit of trouble. David Omisi in 28th. Richard Bukema in 29th. Marvin Amant's 30th. Stefan van der Velde in 31st. Jort van Wyk in 32nd. Sam Koitert 33rd. Danny Kroos 34th. Kevin Van Dessel 35th. Yuri Tenvoorde 36th. There's a few more, I think.
Yeah, 37th was Elroy Timmer. 38th was Niels Costa. Quinton Floor was 39th. 40th was Justin Nair. Perry Oosterveer was 41st. Julian Rambo was 42nd. 43rd was Ricardo Romkima Ricci. And did not start, I don't think, was Niels Tiestas. Or was he the one that ended up out on the first lap? Not sure.
I think that was Justin Nair.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Nair, yes.
Okay, guys. Well, we've got people now lining up for an interview. So, Tyler, I'm going to hand over our race winner, Mirko Bartolotti. Sorry, I'll get it out eventually. Tyler Newitt, all yours.
Mirko Bortolotti, a race winner here in the Next Level E Series in a Lamborghini. Not, I'd imagine, an unusual feeling for you. Hopefully, a sign of things to come for your 2021 season. But you kind of had some smooth sailing out there, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, definitely the best way to start the year, even though it's virtually. But still, it's been a long night, so I wasn't quite sure I'm actually able to race, but it worked out pretty well, and great to take that win. It was quite a fun race, I have to say. I mean, this track is amazing, and driving this car on this track is a really good combo.
Yeah, I have to say, we were noting at least in qualifying, the kind of rise to the top of the sort of real world racing drivers. Have you driven a Lamborghini around Spa before?
Yeah, multiple times in the past. I mean, not last year, unfortunately. But yeah, I've done the Spa 24 a couple of times, starting from 2015. So yeah, it's definitely one of the highlights of our season in Europe. Great track, and always good to drive there. And also on iRacing, I must say it's really good, well made, and really close to the real deal. So it's as I said before, it's real good fun to be out there, even though it's virtually, but it's a good way to get ready for the season and have a good evening with friends.
Yeah, absolutely. I figured you had. I didn't want to make any assumptions though, but yeah, certainly pretty accomplished. We did see your teammate Maximilian Paul up there before some troubles. Obviously it's early in the season, but looking forward to the championship with the tracks coming up for us on the schedule up ahead. Do you think, certainly you're in contention after the win today. Do you think you have a strong case for the season championship?
No, definitely not, because I will be missing the next two rounds because I'm racing myself. So I will not be there in the next two rounds, and obviously Maximilian will do the full season. So it's a bit unfortunate that things didn't play out really well for him today. But that's racing sometimes, and I'm sure he's quite up there within the point standings, and he can definitely try to go for the overall win. I will try to help him in the other two races when I will be at home and ready to race again. So for now, that's the situation. I don't think it will change because the races are confirmed, obviously. So I hope I can be there for the last two rounds, and look forward to be back with you guys.
Fair enough. I think that's a very reasonable excuse for absence for the upcoming rounds, and we'll certainly miss you. Although I have to say, I can't imagine the field will be missing you too much, given they were missing you up at the front today. But do you have anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go here?
Gasix Racing, of course. Maxi, as I said, he had a bad race, but he will be back strong next time. And yeah, we have a lot of fun together. That's it really. You guys, thanks for a nice broadcast and for all your efforts, and see you next time.
Thanks so much. Your race winner, Mirko Bortolotti, everybody.
Okay, so next up into the booth, and we'll hand him over to you, Pete. I'm going to go with number 37, Pep. I'm sure he will help us out with his name. But for Volanti Racing and our third place finisher.
So, Pep, first things first, if you want to say your name so that we don't butcher it any further. And we all bailed out, by the way. You were either Car 37 or Pep.
Pepijn.
Pepijn. That'll do me. I'll have forgotten that by next week.
You can call me Pino.
Pino.
Yeah, that's easy.
Someone was making... Oh, right, that's what they've been saying on the chat. There you go. Right, okay. You might want to read the chat then. So, third place, and we saw you unbelievably competitive with the guys around you, particularly Boudewijn and Maximilian at one point. And you were... at one point, you looked like the cork in the bottle at the very front of the field. You were in second for quite a long time. And we wondered, if they get past him, will they just disappear off down the road? And it wasn't the case. You were absolutely competitive right to the very end.
Yeah, thank you. I had very lots of trouble with the setup because I made it safer for the race. So I put a little bit more wing on the back So that made us slower on the straights, but in the slipstream I could keep up with them, luckily.
I doubt you were stuck to them for most of the race, to be honest. You had, let me think of all the names now. Gonna struggle, I think. You had Danny Crows in front of you for quite a long time. That was just after Mirko Bortolotti, who we've just spoken to, disappeared off down the road. And you showed some fantastic driving capability. Have you driven this car much before?
I did a 24-hour race with it on Phillip Island, and I trained a lot for this race. I really think this is one of the best combos on iRacing, in my opinion. Trained a whole lot with data, for example. So I just prepared a lot.
We've had other people say that, and to be fair, Spa is a fantastic track, regardless of the car, as long as you can avoid the off-tracks. Did you end up with many incident points by the end of that?
I had 14 on the last lap of the race.
Oof. Ooh, that's close. We saw a few people take penalties further back, but none of the top lot. I bet you were fingers and toes crossed that Mirko would at least cross over the 15 mark. So any other standout moments for you in the race?
Yeah, I think the start was a really good moment for me. It was just consistent and keeping it clean, and then gaining the third position was quite a task in the race, because then I could keep up with Danny.
Yeah,
and set me up for the rest of the race.
Yeah, and the start was unbelievable, because you were all too wide for the best part of a third of the first lap, at least. It was crazy. The skill that you guys showed was incredible. So congratulations for that. Is there anybody?
Thank you very much.
No problem. I want to call out those sort of successes and skills when we can. Anybody you'd like to have a shout out to, or you need to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, I want to thank my team, Ros Jost, he's my teammate, my team bosses and engineers in my team for helping me. And, the guys who trained with me and helped me prepare for this race.
Cool. And where do you think you can get to before the end of the season? Do you think you'll be vying for the top spot, or are you aiming for top 5? What are your plans for this?
Yeah, after this race, I really hope I can get in the top 5 for the next races. I also need to prepare like this, so I think this can work out.
In that case, I will bid you farewell and fair journeys for the future and good racing. Pino, our third place finisher tonight.
Yeah, thank
you. Mid-thanks. Awesome.
Right, so we now have our second place finisher, and another name that I'm going to murder, and I'm hoping that he will put me right. Boudewijn Custer?
Yeah, that was almost perfect. So,
see, I'm getting there now.
I wish you hadn't said that.
That was the best guess you've ever noticed in your life. Second place. You must be over the moon with that.
yeah, didn't expect it, and just unfortunately hadn't the time this week to train. But after all, really happy with the result. Once again, didn't expect it to, but yeah, had a lot of fun.
Mirko was obviously the class of the field and just drove away. But the battle from sort of second down to probably sixth, it really could have gone any way. But, you held your nerve. It was some really good passing moves. I can't remember, guys. Was it Boudewijn that made the gap through the middle on the straight?
No,
it wasn't.
That was Joran Vatlet. That was.
That's right. Yeah. But as we said, some fantastic overtakes, and it's not easy to do an hour round Spa with a 15 incident limit, is there? How close were you in the end to getting a drive through?
Not really. I had, I think, 8 incident points.
Oh, very good.
Plenty left, and yeah, just try to get in my rhythm, which I think I succeeded. And yeah, just drive it to the end.
And you missed the last round, didn't you?
I missed the first one.
Yeah.
That's my tip.
Are you likely to make the rest of the rounds?
Yep, I do. I drive multiple championships, and unfortunately, the first round of this championship collided with the virtual bell car, and we are the class leader in virtual bell car, so I preferred to do that one. So luckily, I will do all of the Lamborghini Cup races.
Talking about virtual bell car, I think our very good friend Ronald Moons is in that.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. So, any other standout moments for you in that race?
No, I think all the race there was no highlights for me. I enjoyed it for 60 minutes straight, and I expected to do so next time.
So just head down, concentrate, and did you think you could get on the podium, or would you have been happy with the top 10?
No, I'm not. I wouldn't be happy with top 10. I know what I'm capable of, and but I was expecting between P5 and P10. Outside, I wouldn't be happy, but now we're on the podium. For sure, I am.
Well, it was an absolutely fantastic drive. Any shout outs you'd like to give before we let you go?
Shout out to you guys for broadcasting, to the organization, and yeah, looking forward to the next ones.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on your second place, and go and get yourself a well-earned beer.
Thanks a lot, guys. I will. Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Right, guys. So how do we wrap that up? I just looked at the round 1 result again, and the top 3 from round 1 all had issues.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Mirko was obviously 4th in round 1, takes the win in this race, but can't drive in the next 2 rounds. So I think this championship is wide open. But as for the racing, we've seen some horror shows around Spa, but I think these guys tonight, as Tyler alluded to earlier, they showed the class that this championship has got.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, it's from what you've just described about last time's finishing and Mirko not being here for the next 2 races. It's a bit like someone's grabbed the Etch-a-Sketch and just shook it really hard. We're not exactly starting again, but the top spot is open for anyone right now, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's Brands Hatch, I think, next as well, which isn't. Yeah, again, it's a tricky old school track, isn't it? It's not very wide, can be very difficult to overtake. So we could see the whole thing turned upside down again.
Yeah, there's plenty of opportunity if it is Brands for people to show some real driving finesse. You can't get around Brands without being smooth on a number of corners. There are overtaking opportunities, but they are gambles. So I think we'll see a lot of drama. I think it's going to be very, very exciting, and as exciting as this easily. Spa's been great for this league. That 1 hour vanished, highly competitive, and been great to commentate on with you and Tyler. What do you think, Tyler?
I thought it was an absolute blast. I mean, really some fantastic racing, and you had your incidents that you're going to have with a 40 plus car grid. But generally, I thought the standards were pretty impressive, and the battling was absolutely fantastic. And as you said, it just flew by. I just checked, and it is definitely Brands next. So that's going to be fantastic. I think I love Brands. I think it's a really excellent track and makes for some great racing, even if it is a little difficult to overtake. I think with the caliber of this field, we're going to see a really excellent show next time out.
Yeah, I'm going to make sure I've not got white pants on for Brands Hatch.
Yeah.
And Sam, from a camera point of view, as I said a little while ago, we have seen some horror shows at Spa, but the cameras were pretty much filled with some awesome battling and some fantastic overtakes.
I've been busy again. What can I say? It was a great race. The drivers put up a great show. And looking at the size of the field and the difficulty of the track, I think it was a super clean race and very exciting race. Apart from Mirko in front, of course.
Yeah, unfortunately, as Pete said during the race, we didn't see much of Mirko because he was so far in front. But he'll learn next time, and he'll slow down and get some more camera footage. Right, guys, so that's round 2 over. Coming up next week, we are back in GT4 TCR action on Wednesday night. And then the VRA GTCC is back next Sunday, so a week on Sunday. So all good things to look forward to. This series is back on the 15th from Brands Hatch, as Tyler has just confirmed. So it just leaves me to say Happy New Year again to everybody. Thanks to the drivers for putting on such a fantastic race. Thanks to everybody that joined in on the chat. We always appreciate it, as we always say. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. And also make sure that you follow us on Facebook, and then you'll never miss another one of those of our broadcasts. Thanks to Pete, Sam, and Tyler for joining me in the booth. And also thanks to the top 3 for coming in for an interview. I know they did get a nudge from the organisers, but it's always nice when you get the top 3 in. So I shall say good night, let the guys say good night, and then we'll close the broadcast. So good night, everybody, and welcome to 2021.
Yeah, good night, everyone. Have a great year, and join us throughout it for some great racing.
Yeah, good night, everybody. Happy New Year. Looking forward to some more excellent racing.
Yeah, good night, everyone, and Happy New Year, as Dioso said. And we'll catch you next week for the GT4 this year.